It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by ProMed Ambulance Services, care you can count on, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. Along with her contemporary Rusty Warren, Ruth Wallis was known for risqué novelty songs, although one critic has suggested that she was less blatant than Warren. Born Ruth Shirley Wold in Brooklyn on January 5, 1920, Wallis began her career singing jazz and cabaret standards with such band leaders as Isham Jones and Benny Goodman on road tours for a couple months. She gained fame in the 1940s and 50s for risqué satirical songs that she wrote herself, rife with double entendres. It was during one of her appearances on the lounge and cocktail bar circuit that she met her husband, High Pastman. Eventually, it became clear that her double entendre novelty songs were the most popular. These songs discussed a number of then taboo topics, such as homosexuality and infidelity. In 1953, she recorded a collection of saucy songs for the Deluxe label, including Jose is Living the Life of Riley. Later that year, she wrote, sang, and published a mainstream novelty hit, Dear Mr. Godfrey, a song about Arthur Godfrey's public firing of Julius La Rosa. It sold 100,000 copies within the first 10 days of release and reached number 25 on the charts, launching Wallis on a whirlwind nightclub tour. Despite this mainstream exposure, Wallis recognized that her nightclub repertoire of risque material was steadier and more lucrative. Frustrated by Deluxe's limited distribution of her works and concerned about bootleg copies for which she received nothing, she started her own record labeled Wallis Original Recordings. When she arrived in Australia for a tour in 1958 with songs like The Admiral's Daughter and Johnny Had a Yo-Yo, customs agents seized her records. Rather than ruining her career, this only brought out crowds. It also created healthy demand for her suppressed records, which were selling there at an extreme premium, $8 apiece. During the 1960s, she was a regular headliner in Las Vegas nightclubs and lounges. Wallis retired in the 1970s to spend more time with her husband and 2 children, but continued to work on material for Broadway shows. Her music went on to be played on radio's Dr. Demento show. In March 2007, Ruth Wallis was honored by the National Archives of Australia. Memorabilia of hers was included in Memory of a Nation, a permanent exhibition opening in Canberra. On December 22nd that year, she died from complications of Alzheimer's disease at the age of 87. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me for Trivia Tracks weekdays at 6:45 on Everybody's Country Y95.